This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Amplified.
Here it is. We're back again. Rudy don't fear no boy. Rudy don't fear. Rougher than rough. Tougher than tough. Strong like iron because we are lions. Rudy don't fear no boy. I'm hollering out to everybody in the social media world this morning or this afternoon, forgive me. Whatever time zone you might be in. The name of this show is Babylon Makes the Rules. But first and foremost, I would like to give credit to our sponsors, Amplified DSM and Infinite Resources, right here in Des Moines, Iowa. Using this platform to let the world know in Iowa and around the world. What's up? Tell me something. I got a guest here today. Tell him your name, bruh.
Yes, my name is Nisumba Vios Benefis.
Say that again.
Nisumba Vios Benefis. I know it's quite a long name.
That's kind of no, it's beautiful. I just just to hear the name being pronounced.
Yeah.
We here today. My good brother is from Tanzania. And we're here today, we're going to talk about a topic that a lot of people know very little of. And the media, the American media, and most Western European media lines are not talking about it. We're talking about a humanitarian crisis that's going on in the Congo. We see that what's going on in Israel between the Israelis and Hamas and Hezbollah. We see the war that's going on in Ukraine between Russia and Ukraine. But on the media and the local television stations nationwide, we don't see anything about what's going on in the Congo. And I just want to give a little background about what's been happening in the Congo. And we go back from a historical standpoint and look at the scramble for Africa and the Berlin Conference, which occurred in 1884 through 1885, where European nations got together and partitioned Africa. And Belgium obtained the region of the Congo Free States, the Congo. And at the time, in the 1800s, early 1900s, King Leopold II of Belgium was a despot dictator who came to the Congo and had the nerve to put his throne in the center of the Congo. And more than 1/3 of the population was killed, mutilated, hands cut off, legs cut off because people wasn't down for colonial rule. And consistently since the form of imperialism that the Europeans brought to Africa, they still have their hands on the continent. Why is that? It's because indirect rule. Some of these countries have obtained their independence and have flag independence, and yet the colonialists left people behind that think like them and continue to help to exploit their own people. And Benefice is here to enlighten us on some of the things that he knows of and that he's seen there in the Congo, because they're neighboring countries, and I know you have visited as well.
Yes.
You know, would you enlighten us to some of the stuff that you've seen and know of already?
Well, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of this podcast. And of course, these are things that most people don't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You see, as you mentioned, the Berlin Conference and the Europeans that scramble for Africa, and the Congo. Today, under the Congo, just the resources, there's about $24 trillion under the continent. It's under the country itself. So, of course, you have other countries that within the region that are quite have the resources. I mean, let's face it, the continent is just cursed with, or it's just very rich in resources.
Cursed with riches.
Yes, I would say cursed with riches, and that's why you see the nations of the world are run by the African continent, and that's why most people don't. Me, I grew up during the Civil War, the first Congo, second, and of course the Rwandan genocide, the Burundian Civil War that started with 93 all the way to 2005. So I was a little kid, I would say that I grew up around that time. I remember the UN camps that were set up across the border. And now my ancestors are from Burundi originally, so my roots go to Burundi. And to put it in perspective, it was a very terrible coming up. It was a very terrible life coming up. And, me growing up, you just never knew when it was your end. You hear bombs going off far away, you hear screaming all the time. And, but, it's one of those things where, when it comes to wars that are happening in Africa, nobody cares. Truly, the world don't care, because when the genocide was going on, the Rwandese genocide or the first Congo War and second Congo War, nobody cared. The United States, the European Union, the French, Belgium, everybody was included in that. And remember, this was going during the Cold War. Mm-hmm. The Cold War, yes. Most of us know about, the Soviet Union and the United States. The two ideology. It's just solely on the ideologies differences, and so you either side with the Americans, with the Americans in regards to capitalism, or you side with the communism. You know what I mean? And so most African nations, as they were becoming free, they never had when they were approached the Americans in regards to obtaining arms and trying to fight for their freedom to have autonomy. The Americans turned them down, and guess what? They went to the Soviets. The Soviets said, you know what, we'll supply you with guns and everything like that. And next thing you know, that's why you see all these presidents and different countries are really having coup d'etats, because you know why? The colonial administration was still there, embedded in that. I mean, let's face it. You see what's happening in West Africa with Niger,
yes.
Burkina Faso. What do you think the French are still, they think they still hold the 14 colonies?
Because they're concerned about maintaining those resources.
Exactly.
Because plutonium.
Oh, yeah. No, a lot of it.
All
different types.
All different oil, but
uranium.
But I'm talking about uranium and
yes.
plutonium.
Yes.
Are elements that's needed to make bombs.
Yeah, bombs, or even
nuclear bombs.
And let's face it, the French economy totally needs the 14 colonies that are still under colonial rule. Believe it or not, neo-colonials, and let's face it, they don't have to have their. Why do you think they have their military there?
Yep.
They still have their military there, and they're being kicked out now. Everybody's rising. I mean, everybody sees on the news, they think this is nothing. But we have all these nations that have their hands in there. But going back to East Africa initially, so the Congo in 2013, 2015, there was a massive genocide that happened, and nobody covered it. No one covered it. I mean, there was massive. You just see bodies, corpses laid in rivers. Nobody saw that. I'm pretty sure you never saw that.
No, but not here. Not here in America.
Not even the Europeans.
No. The European nations didn't want to show too much about it. But if I know, I looked at Al Jazeera.
Yes.
Al Jazeera English is sometimes a lot of people don't want to touch it
they don't.
because the Islamophobic
Exactly.
mindset of the people of this nation. They
Yes.
showed just heels
Oh,
of human skulls,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm talking about babies,
Oh yeah, of course.
little children
Of course.
being killed left and right, women being raped,
Oh man.
girls being raped because these post-colonial forces are still present.
They don't care. It's about self-interest, as I said before. If it doesn't help the nation, if it doesn't help these European nations, they're not gonna focus on it. And then when Ukraine, gets attacked or something like that, or everybody jumps up.
Well,
Let's do it. I'm all like, it's very controversial.
you know what? My great grandma told me something when I was a little boy. She told me to go out in the backyard and go get. She had a chicken pen in the back.
Yeah.
She had chickens, she had guineas, and she had ducks.
Wow.
In her pen, and they were all caged.
Right.
And she said, "Baby, go get me a chicken, a guinea, so I can cook it and make some dumplings,
Right.
chicken and dumplings."
Right.
Okay, and I was like, "Yes, ma'am." So I went out there, man, and went in that backyard and went in that pen, and I went out there and I grabbed one and I brought that chicken out, and she said, well, "Go ahead, wring his neck," and I wring the chicken neck, and the chicken just bouncing around, and I got the head in my hand, and then she brought out a pot of hot water, and I plucked the feathers off and then Grandma looked at me. That's my great grandmother. She said, "Baby, did you learn anything?" I said, "Did I learn what, ma'am?" She said, "You didn't learn nothing." I said, "No, ma'am, I didn't."
Wow.
She said, "Well, let me tell you one thing." She said, "Mama chickens don't take care of baby ducks."
Wow. That is deep.
So in the same manner, we as a people don't have the media control that the other Western forces have, or the European or Soviet sources have, the Russian forces have, with their media, and they're going to show their story and their spin on the story.
Exactly.
But we in America, blacks in America, once had BET, but they sold that back to white folks. So we don't even control our own media. So that's why we, in a sense, are oblivious to the facts on what's going on around this planet.
Damn, man.
I was looking at the Congo. They said the Congo is rich in magnesium, bauxite, cobalt, copper, diamond, gold, all these different resources, coltan. And coltan, most people don't even know what coltan is. But if you got one of the iPhones or whatever, you got a laptop, you got a computer, you got to have this black substance that comes predominantly from the Congo.
Yes.
And people are dying behind these products, these minerals that's coming up out the ground.
To put it simply, it was one of my friends, Mwalimu. We call him Mwalimu.
Mm-hmm.
Teacher.
The teacher.
Swahili. Yes,
The teacher.
Yeah, Mwalimu.
No, Julius Nyeri. Julius Nyeri, the teacher.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And so, honestly, he put it a good point. He made a good point in one of his statements, of course, private statements, that, all these the nations of the outside today, we see today, were all built on looting. We're all built on looting other nations. I mean, let's face it. This has happened thousands of years. But when it comes to the African continent itself, still today, you see all the things that we have today that are running today. Someone has to sacrifice. Someone has to go down there. I was in Africa. I was in East Africa last year, 2022. And, I'm going through different mines. I'm going through different stuff. All the resources they're showing me. And as I'm going through there, I just see all these resources, and I wonder, why are these people still poor? It's because, you see, the thing is, they have to stay that way. It's designed that way. Even the UN designed it that way. Let's face it. The UN designed it that way. There's a reason why, people keep asking. It's like everybody is having a handout.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a handout because you see, the UN needs to employ its people. The UN needs to employ its people. What do you think? Let's face it, the Democratic of the Congo in the Kivu region today, you see what's happening. The Rwanda and Congo, they're at it at each other. They're at each other's neck because the Rwandese are going into the Congo and they're looting the Congo and they're stealing. And that's why you see, they pose it as, Rwanda is the next Singapore. Where are they getting the resources from? 27% of the cobalt coming from East Africa, the highest percentage, comes from Rwanda. In the last 3 years, comes from Rwanda. Why? Because they're looting the Congo. They're killing the natives. They're killing the natives that are in the Congo within the neighboring their borders. So they bring their own people in there and they keep taking the resources.
So, in other words, fratricide is going on.
Yes.
Brothers killing brothers.
Yes, that's how it is.
And one of the major problems, too, is borders.
Yes, borders.
And the borders that Europeans created.
Oh, yeah, of course. Let's not get down to that.
Yeah, I talked to a friend of mine that told me, who was from West Africa, and he told me that when he crosses the border into another, he has to have a visa.
Oh, yes.
And you have to go to another country, you have to have a visa.
Exactly.
And they're just like here in the United States, there's 50 states. Now, if I drive from Iowa over to Illinois, I need to have a visa to go into Illinois. Okay? That's, because all of them, 54 independent countries?
Yeah, 54. Yes.
54 independent countries, so every time you go into a new country, you have to have a passport or visa to go into that country. And they're your neighbor.
Yeah, you're quite neighbor. And put it simply, not to quote you all, put it simply, you have linguistically, if we look at the linguistically side of it, the Bantu group. The Bantu people.
Yeah.
Which just means people.
People
Bantu.
from, yeah.
Yeah, from the sub-Saharan
Africa.
Sub-Saharan Africa. If you go down from the Cameroon, and pretty sure you're highly educated. I know you know this. The Bantu migration, the first and the second Bantu migration. I mean, if you put it simply, it all comes down to everyone below the Sub-Saharan Africa is one.
Yes.
Linguistically is one. If you look at, for me, I speak all those languages. Kurundi, Swahili, Kinyarwanda, I speak all those languages perfectly, no problem. If you cross the border, you can understand each other. It's like, what distinguishes us? It's because it was designed that way based on the colonial times. The Germans came in with the German East Africa, the Belgium, King Leopold, he got the crown jewel. The crown jewel.
Don't bring up Cecil Rhodes.
Oh, man.
It was that dirty. Him and Leopold. I hope they in hell with gasoline jumpsuits on right now. They're burning their ass off. Oh, dirty son of a sea biscuits.
Oh, dear.
For real.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is.
It's sad because what Leopold did in the Congo.
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler was a punk.
Yeah.
In comparison of the millions of people that Leopold killed.
Half of the population of the Congo was
united. Come on.
And then you pose these, there's dictators, these African dictators. Man, let's go back to Europe.
Oh, now I'm a little older than you.
Yeah.
Because my hair is white.
Exactly.
That's the only reason why.
Yes.
But I remember when not Julius Nyerere. That's Malemu.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about Patrice Lumumba.
Oh, man.
When Patrice Lumumba, back in 1960, told the Western,
Belgium.
the Western Belgians as well, and he told the Western nations as well as the Soviet nations that they didn't want to be aligned with either one of them.
That's perfect.
John F. Kennedy and the CIA went in and killed Patrice Lumumba.
Yeah, because he was posed as a communist.
Yes, and then comes behind him, they put this Mobutu Sese Seko, who was just as crazy as a road lizard in the Mojave Desert.
Oh my God, he annihilated his own population. Man, looting billions
and billions of dollars.
Oh, man.
They're just coming out why other nations get wealthy and your nation becomes poorer.
Puppet.
Yeah.
Simply puppet, man.
But the killing thing about it is that I know I'm not looking for the Western media to show the plight of the black, the African people, because they don't care about us.
Oh,
Michael
no.
Jackson did that song back in the day. He was down in
Just
Brazil.
up there.
And he became an obscene caricature of his European oppressor after he got burnt
Yep.
on a Pepsi commercial.
You're right.
Then all of a sudden Michael Jackson became white. Like, damn, what happened to Michael's nose? His nose got skinny. His
Exactly.
complexion turned. He was pale as a ghost.
Yeah.
But he went down to Brazil.
Right.
And I think it was Rio de Janeiro or
somewhere
Sao
around
Paulo
there,
when he
somewhere
did that video.
Yeah, precisely.
But we have come to understand that Brazil has the second largest population of African people on this planet behind Nigeria. Nigeria has 200 million black people.
Yep.
And Brazil's number 2 in the world.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
they got
something
more black people than folks in Africa. They over here in South America. And they going through they the plight of black people everywhere.
Oh man.
It's crazy.
It is.
It is insane. The thing is, I think it's time for a clarion call, a call to action.
Right.
That we here in the social media who are focused on Afrocentric ideals need to sound the alarm, like I said,
Right.
and let people know.
Yeah, because people are sheltered. Yeah.
Yeah, because
People are
folks
sheltered.
have
They
no
don't know.
idea.
People don't care.
But I hate to see anybody being slaughtered.
Exactly. Regardless of skin
You,
color.
regardless of the complexion, that's a human being.
Yes.
I see, I know there was 1,400 Jews that got killed,
Right.
by Hamas. But there's over 9,000 Palestinians that have been killed. And every time you look upon TV,
Right.
they show you, here's somebody digging a little baby out of some rubble.
Right.
And the mamas and daddies or whoever's there around them crying over them while they wrapping their babies up
Right.
in cloth.
Right. Yet when you go to the African continent or somewhere else, that doesn't matter. Let them kill each other. Let them kill each other. We keep the peace, and then guess what? They shut media off. They control the media, man. There's nothing we can, except you bring it. You bring the light.
Yeah, well, like you said, even in the midst of darkness,
The light
when you light a match in a dark black room where there's no light a match,
Right.
and we're gonna be that match
Precisely.
that's lit up in a dark room, because long as I'm here living and I see wrong going on day or night, I'm gonna holler and let my people know that wrong is going on.
Precisely, man.
Prepare, protect yourself, get your family ready, look at your community. Because if they're doing it to them over there in that country, don't mean that they won't do it right here to you, right here in this country.
Let's face it, man. Come on.
Come on, man.
You lived. I've never lived here in the States as long as you.
No.
You were full on American. There's no African American.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know I was born in America. I'd like to be treated like an American.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get treated like American, I think, to a degree.
To a degree.
To a degree.
What do you mean by that? Exactly?
Because
I don't know.
it would be hard for you to understand because you wasn't born here. Okay? Because I lived it. I saw what happened to my people in the South. I remember what happened when my father, who was a well-to-do individual, had a nice Cadillac back in the 60s. And I remember one time my great-grandfather had passed.
Wow.
And we drove from Houston, Texas to Eutaw, Alabama. And my dad had just bought a 1965 Eldorado Cadillac.
Damn.
White top, white leather interior, red. And I guarantee you, after we got out of a little bit out of Texas and started getting over Louisiana, Mississippi, the police were stopping my daddy all the time. They would stop him. They said, "Boy, what you doing in a Cadillac?" Boy, my daddy a grown man. Boy, what you doing in a Cadillac? What are you, a pimp or something?
Oh, man.
Who's that? That's one of your whores right there talking about my mama. And your little pickaninnies in the back seat.
Crazy. That is crazy.
And I watched that as a kid. I remember when we drove to different places, my dad would stop to try to get gas. And one time I remember I was at the gas pump with my dad, and my mother was pregnant with my little brother. And my sisters was with my mother, and my mother wanted to go to the restroom, and they had the restroom on the outside of the building back in the day. We're at the gas station. They wouldn't let my mother use the restroom.
Damn.
So they had to get in the car, and my dad said, if my wife can't use your restroom, I don't need your gas.
Damn.
He gave him a little money, whatever he had for the gas, and then we got on and had to go somewhere where my mom could go in the woods somewhere to privately squat and use the restroom.
My gosh.
Okay?
Brutal.
Okay, but that's the way it was. We couldn't go into restaurants.
Certain restaurants.
No.
Not all of them.
No, man, they had a door on the side or a back door that you had to go to if you wanted something to eat. They'd take your money, but you couldn't go inside and eat with white people.
Damn.
Okay. That's the way it was. You couldn't go and drink from a water fountain because the water fountain was labeled white, and then they had another water fountain that was labeled colored. The water fountain that was labeled white was pristine and beautiful. The one that was labeled colored looked like somebody had a water hose spout that you just drink from up under like an animal.
You bring up a good...
So that's why I said you wouldn't understand that because you didn't go through that. Because you was in amongst an indigenous group of people.
Oh, well, we had our own little...
Yeah, and then y'all have your own space because intertribal, tribalism. Tribalism is just as bad as racism. Yep.
Let's not forget the Hutus and Tutsis.
Who?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what happened in Rwanda.
Oh, yeah,
Burundi, what, 500,000 people?
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's face it.
500,000 people were killed in how long?
I think it was 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah, 3 months. Yeah,
3 months, 500,000 people killed. Yeah. And look at what Israel doing right now behind 1,400 people.
Yep.
1,400 people killed, and they bombing them people to
the ground. It's just crumbles. It just crumbles. I mean, to be honest with you, even in the context of the America, the Constitution, pretty much the Constitution, everything like that. Let's talk about it. I mean, you're half. What is it called? All men are created equal.
Yeah, the same guy that wrote them words on people who were on human beings.
Exactly. All men are created equal. But what did they mean by exactly that?
He was equal when he was in the bed with Sally Henning, that black woman that he had them babies with.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Jefferson?
Jefferson.
Oh, my God. The Descendants, I've seen a little documentary about him and the Descendants. I'm all like, wow.
He was so cold. He left his wife back in the U.S. while he went over to France and had his little chocolate woman over there partying over in France with his black woman.
Oh my gosh.
Son of a sea biscuit. I try not to curse, but intellectuals sometimes use profanity. I'm gonna call him a son of a biatch. That's what he is. That's what he is. Calling the president of the United States. Yeah.
Troubled times.
Yeah, but we say stuff like this, and then people say, "Oh, you're making me feel bad because you're talking about." No. I'm telling you the truth about who you are.
It's the truth. Yes.
The truth about your history.
It's about history. Yes. Same thing for me. Like in the context of on the African continent, you see, my families were nobles. There were Hutus. You know, there were Hutu nobles. You know, we have a mixture of Hutus and Tutsis in the family. And so, you know, I mean, during the time of in the 1960s and 70s, you know, this wasn't covered, of course. In 72, there was a genocide in Burundi. There was a massive genocide, of course, in Tanzania later on. Idi Amin, who invaded the Tanzania, and Tanzania came back and annihilated him and kicked him out of power. But if you think about that, you see, we had our own repression. The Hutus were viewed as, you know, indentured and just, you know, go out there in the field. But in 1972, there was a massive genocide. I remember my grandma telling me a story about how his own brother, they killed him in front of her, and everybody had to clap. Oh, clap! Just like just like with the Slavs, or I think it was the Germans, what they were doing, indirect rule.
Yes.
They were hunting these Jews, and every time these Jews were brought up, of course, all stripped naked, and after that, they had to dig their own holes. I mean, you see extensive videos and photos as the Jews were being shot, and after that, they would, you know what I mean?
Yes,
they were falling there.
Yeah, bulldoze the bodies.
Yeah, bulldoze
in the ground and throw some dirt on them.
Exactly. That's what they were doing in 72 in Burundi alone. The Tutsis were doing that. Now, when Rwanda, you see, the thing is, I look like a Hutu already, but I'm a mixture. But the thing is, in Rwanda, when they see a person like me, they say, "Oh, there's the killers. They are the killers." Because in 94, people, I mean, machetes, they were going in the streets, butchering people on the streets. It doesn't matter whether you're a baby or you're a friend. Friend turned to friend. Neighbor turned to neighbor. Overnight, they were killing. The plane just got shut down. Everybody took the streets. And guess who was leading it? The media. The media said, let's go kill those cockroaches. Everybody took their whatever, spears, hammers, and went to kill people.
Man, it's so much trouble in this world.
Oh, it's so much trouble. It is so much trouble. I mean, what can we do about it?
You know, in a sense, I'm coming to realize that human beings might be a virus that's on this planet.
Really?
Just like this planet is a cell.
Wow.
You know, a cell that's in space just spinning. And we as people are just like these little microbes on that cell. And the way we act towards one another, with how we kill each other, and there's enough resources
to go around
for everybody.
There's enough food to go around.
There's enough food for everybody. There's enough resources for everybody. But there's not fair trade.
Fair trade. I mean, remember.
Yeah, not free trade, but fair trade. I'm going to tell you, just like you brought up the French a while ago.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know, the French or the Belgians or the Swiss, all of them need cocoa they can make chocolate.
Yeah, of course.
And they talk about, the Belgian chocolate, the Swiss chocolate.
Yes.
Ain't no damn chocolate, ain't no cocoa in Europe. Yeah. They have to get it from Africa.
Yeah. So
they can make chocolate.
You know, you bring a good point in regards to the Congo. I mean, you just leave the president, the president now sitting in Ghana. You seen those speeches he did. You know, telling the Swiss, now we need the factories being built in here. We don't want to ship you raw materials no more, because they bring extra. I mean, there's no added value. Why these currencies are still weak? The African currencies. Yeah. They're still enslaved because you know why? They don't produce their own thing. They don't have added value on that.
Man, I was looking, there's a large Liberian population here in Des Moines as well.
Shocking, man.
A very large Liberian population here in Des Moines. But I look at Firestone. Right. Now, in Liberia, Firestone has a plant in Liberia. And their plant is because there's so many rubber trees there in Liberia. They have rubber tree plantations, right? And they process the rubber over there just to ship it over here, so that the people can manufacture the tires right here in Des Moines.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah, that's where they get their rubber from. Liberia.
Damn.
So every time you got them Firestone tires, you got Liberian tires.
Oh my gosh. And no one has thought of, no one has, no Liberian have thought of, you know what? Of course, you're not going to try to nationalize that. The government is not going to try to nationalize that, because if you nationalize such incidents, then you don't have proper management. That's the key. I mean, even going back to the Congo, when Mobutu took over and he nationalized every company, he kicked out every foreign company. I mean, people were not educated to take care, to take business, to make sure the businesses were, running properly. They would be managed properly. Now, you talk about Ethiopia. On the other hand, the what's his name? I forget his name.
Which one?
The king.
Haile Selassie.
Yes. That guy was highly intelligent.
Kadam Highway, Baba Janoi.
Man.
Yeah, Haile Selassie.
He was a man. He was a man of stature. I could tell you that. He will send his people to overseas. He will fund the education. And he said, you know what? Here, you go learn that and bring it back home. But nowadays, I have friends who send their children over here to the States, and then when they come here, they stay here. Why you want to stay here?
Because they
Why you want to stay here?
Because things are convenient here.
Yeah,
Things are convenient in comparison to being back in a nation whose infrastructure is not built like this.
It's still lacking. It's still lacking. And this is what I'm saying. Like, for me, growing up, I went through a very traumatic childhood. In fact, I have a book coming out one day. I wrote it, finished it, but I just need it published. But I talk about my story, how I came here to the States and how I grew up. And as growing up, I said, you know what? This is terrible. I can't rely. I can't, of course we were accepted. We were accepted with asylum here in the States, coming from Britain and coming here. And honestly, I say that, here everything's been built. Why stay here where everything's being built when you can go back home and fight and give opportunities where there's no opportunities, because that's where it is. I mean, let's talk about the Great Awakening in the States. You learn in history about the Great Awakening, how, it led to the Gilded Age, the Gilded Age, where, prosper and industrial. But in Africa, you don't see that because people's mentality.
Well, when you are, it depends on the mindset and the need for industrialization, or if people want to. Sometimes development could be counterproductive in comparison to being productive. Because I was looking at right now in the Congo and elsewhere around the continent of Africa, from an agricultural standpoint, some of the nations are now talking about taking in the artificial fertilizers.
Oh man, that's terrible.
And it's terrible.
Yeah, it's very terrible.
Because it will mess up what's already been going on.
Of course. What's more natural.
Because looking at, I'm so thankful in my academic journey that I had a professor who was a student under Mulimu.
Right. Really?
Yeah. President Julius Nyerere. I had a professor named Zuberi Wamba. Yeah, he was a PhD from Howard University. He had a PhD at Howard. He worked for Mulimu in the 1950s.
Damn.
Okay, and he ended up being my political science professor at Texas Southern University.
Wow.
And he was my mentor.
Damn.
And he taught me about the faces of imperialism.
Damn.
And what was going on the continent. So when I come to understand what was going on, my heart and my mind was open to meet my brothers and sisters from the continent of Africa, because I wanted to know.
So have you been on the continent?
Never in my life.
Would you hope to go there one day?
If the United States would not restrict me from getting a passport, yes, I would love to go. To tell the truth, I want to go back to the place that my ancestors were banished from.
Wow. That's
you know,
deep, man.
yeah,
It's deep.
you know, I want to go back to the place where 69.4% of my DNA came from. Because many blacks in America have been infused with
Different.
European.
Yep, Europeans.
Yeah. Because I come to find out after I did some crazy stuff and did that Ancestry.com and like a
What'd you
nut
find?
gave my DNA away to these people,
Right.
you know, and I come to find out that 69.4% of my genetic makeup is sub-Saharan Africa,
Wow.
Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Angola, and a little bit of Congo.
Wow.
And only 1.5% Horn of Africa.
Wow.
The other 23+% was Western European, German, England,
Oh my
France,
God.
and Finnish. Okay, so I got European blood in me, and I'm thankful that I'm alive. You know, but the thing is, when I stand in front of Europeans, they don't see a European.
Yep.
And I don't get treated like a European.
Right. But they themselves may have black blood in them too.
Oh, they do too, because everybody have black blood in them. If we come from the monogenetic creation of humanity coming out of out of Africa,
Right.
you know, in the region of the world where you were born.
Right.
Okay,
Africa, yeah.
East Africa.
Yep.
And everybody was domesticated. Everybody was civilization,
Yep. I wrote from
language, arts, science, math.
there. Yep.
Everything was created there and moved out
Outward. Yep.
and spread around the world.
Yep. You're precisely.
So everybody got some, because we are one species. We are one human.
Yep.
We should be, unless somebody came down here off a spaceship and landed here and like my brothers from what they from, what they call, he's from South Sudan. He said he descendants of the Anunnaki. You know, like the ancestors came out of space and landed here.
Damn.
You know, so we I know I was going off course a little bit, but the thing is looking at the humanitarian issue.
Yeah, it is.
What the humanitarian crisis that's occurring in the Congo, and hardly no press.
Nobody cares, man.
Hardly
Let's face
no
it.
press.
I mean,
But there are people that care.
Yeah, there are people that care. Of course, the people that come from there, they know what's going on.
The people that care, and then some of the people here, once they find out, they would care too, because there's a sense of humanity in all of us.
Exactly.
We should.
There's a side of us. Yes.
Yeah, a side of us should say that is horrible.
Not right. Yeah, that's not right.
That's
Regardless.
not, you know, but why is this not being spoken of in our media? Shows how white supremacy, racism works.
Really?
Because look in the media here in this country. They're not showing that over here in the United States, what's happening in the Congo.
No.
But they're showing you what's going on in Ukraine because it's white people.
Yep.
They're showing you what's going on in Palestine because it's white people.
Oh, let's fight for the cause. Donate. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah,
let's
you
face
know.
it, man. You know when
and I'm not talking about a hatred for nobody,
I hope
but I'm just saying, looking at what's really happening in front of our faces.
It's right there.
And then we got a bunch of these chicken head leaders, like this Tim Scott. From I'm not a Republican, I'm not Democrat, I'm not independent, but Tim Scott had the nerve to take his Bucky the Beaver looking self and get up in front of a black church and tell the black church, y'all need to quit talking about racism. Why the hell you gonna tell people quit talking about what they facing every damn day?
Yep.
You know, you such a sellout. You want to be
got it good.
You want to be Obama number 2. Okay, because a lot of black people in America thought when Obama got in,
there, right?
oh, we are free at last. Thank God. He cannot change the seat of the office of the president. It don't make no difference what complexion or what gender an individual might be, because that seat of the president of this country stands for what they've been doing.
Exactly.
And if you veer,
they take you out.
Obama was selected and elected.
Right.
Okay. Because prior to him coming here in the state of Iowa, he had a $750 million war chest.
Wow.
When he came in this state for the Iowa caucus.
Wow. Never knew that.
Dude, I was up in northern Iowa, up in Fort Dodge, pastoring a church and driving a concrete truck.
Right.
And out in the middle of the farmland up there in northwest Iowa, where you can hardly find nobody that looked like you and me, I saw Obama signs in the middle of them damn cornfields and on hog lots. I said, what the hell is going on? Then I found out Wall Street put him in there.
Damn.
Okay, all his buddies, his graduates, all the buddies he went to school with, they went to, they went to Harvard and Yale, and they was in the same fraternities and skull and crossbones and all of that bull corn.
Yep.
Okay, and then they put him in office, and then black people like, oh, we so
praise,
happy, we praise, we got a
We're
black
free.
president. And what did he do for you?
Yeah, what did he? I mean, let's talk. I mean, let's face it, the legacy. Yeah, what did he do? Yeah, what did he do for us?
Obamacare. Give you some cheap ass insurance that you can probably get something done. But don't let nothing happen to you. That's really takes specialists to look at, because you don't have the insurance to even save your life. If you don't have the money, you'll die in this country.
Yep, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And you're the first line of defense. I always say, I'm a huge, not talking about topic, but I'm a huge, health. Take my health very seriously.
Mm-hmm. Health is more important than wealth.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Quality.
Yeah.
I'm talking about quality. You're the first line of defense. Why? But I mean, if you put it into perspective, a lot of people don't know that, when it comes to a lot of what's going on in the world, I always say this, it's attributed to this. Look, we all need each other.
Mm-hmm.
We all need each other regardless of what race you are from, okay, of what color or tribe.
Well, check this out. There's no such thing as race.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're all human beings. We should be. Unless we came here some other kind of way. Okay? Because we're just different ethnic groups from different portions of the world. And we all got 2 eyes, 2 ears.
What's inside, what's outside is the same.
A heart pumping in your chest, lungs in your chest, and we're supposed to be human beings.
Yeah, man.
But we can't get along.
We can't get along. Well, you already know who's in power.
Mm.
The politicians in power are the ones who divide. I mean, the political, you see everybody always pulling, divide the people.
Well,
tell them the differences, not the things that unite them.
They're doing an excellent job at that.
That's what drives the African continent, hence in the Congo. I have a friend of mine who's going to the Congo in December, but, his name is Victor. And Victor, man, I tell you, you're going to do great. You're going to do great, I can tell you that. And he's going to become president one day, I believe, of the Congo.
We hope that one of those leaders would take the mindset of those like Molimu and Patrice Lumumba, who said are Thomas Sankara.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And say, hey,
we don't need
you to come
produce
in. We can do our own thing.
Yeah, we don't need
without your assistance.
Yeah. Here's a couple. No, we don't need that. Let them thrive. And that's what I myself I'm doing in Burundi, Tanzania, Rwanda. Trying to move away, put the resources back where they belong, build the communities. We have extensive work. I hope we can post the work there on the website or on the YouTube. You can show something there. But I'm telling you, it's crazy what's going on out there. And there are movers like us, myself. There are movers who are trying to move away from that mentality of always have your hand out. No. Go out there and work hard. I mean, let's think about it. Rome was not built overnight. Thousands and thousands of years.
You know, I want to uncenter whiteness, because Rome was a civilization that came along, but there were many civilizations
that came before that.
Before them that was just as magnificent or
more. Yes.
You know, or more. So, brother, I know we've been going at it, but like I said, there's a need for the masses to know that even though you see you're being bombarded with information on the television and on the radio or whatever means of news that you get, if it's digital, if it's on those other methods or these other means, we want to let you know that what you see in Ukraine and Israel is sad, that so many lives are being taken. It's even just as sad, and even to a degree, on the deaths of the people, on the masses of people who are being killed in the Congo. And there needs to be a global outcry for what's going on. And just like in the days of old when the prophets were around, somebody told me I might be a philosopher, they consider, because I do have a philosophical degree. But I'm inclined to believe that I am a prophet that was sent here to sound the alarm and let people know that wrong is going around and it's coming close to your camp. So prepare, be ready, so you won't be looking crazy when it comes to your front door. Because if you see it going on elsewhere around the world, what makes you think that we here in the United States are immune to having that happen here to us? So that's why I'm telling you, Babylon makes the rules, but Babylon gonna fall one day, because you cannot continue to be that wicked and not have to deal with consequences. This is Dr. Negus Sankofa Imhotep coming to you with another one of these episodes. It might make you feel good. It might make you feel mad. But to tell the truth, I don't really care. Y'all have a good one. Signing off.
This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates and central Iowa companies.
Amplified.